What's up, RT?
Hey, Nick.
Welcome back. Tough Men of Faith.
Back at it.
You ready?
Back in. I even got my Tough Men of Faith shirt on
Dude,
today.
I didn't know we even ordered small shirts, but you're making that thing like flex.
This one's not even a small.
Really?
Yeah. I'm wearing big boy shirts now. I got a medium on.
Nice. You
Yeah.
have to rip the sleeves off that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have your Increase Jesus shirt on. Thanks for them for
Yeah.
sponsoring
Oh, yeah.
us.
Thank you, guys.
IncreaseJesus.com.
Yep.
Tough-10 for 10% off.
Yeah. Check their stuff out. It's pretty good.
They have some new stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ordered some stuff a couple
I
weeks
ordered
ago.
some stuff, and they have some new stuff they put up since then. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I need to get on there.
Get on there.
All right.
Use your Tough-10. And then don't forget Farmstead Summit.
Farmstead
with Tough Men
Summit.
of Faith, building resilient bonds.
Okay.
Gear up for an unforgettable adventure at the Farmstead Summit with Tough Men of Faith, set against the rugged landscapes of the Stringer Farm from September 5th through 7th. Nick Robertson and RT Stringer invite you to experience the essence of strength and brotherhood on this historic homestead.
Nice.
I'm not done. Engage in powerful discussions led by top-notch guests from the Tough Men of Faith podcast, featuring the dynamic voices of... That's where we're going to put in who's coming.
Okay.
More to come on that.
More to come on that.
It's going to be some pretty big guests we had in the past.
Okay, cool.
Anyways, I'm not done. From hard-hitting main sessions to small group breakouts, gain practical insights that hit home. Embrace the spirit of manhood with high-octane activities like rucking, shooting, and other adrenaline-pumping challenges yet to be revealed. Beyond the action, this summit is your chance to forge unbreakable bonds. I like unforgettable bonds better.
Yeah.
Because it will definitely there we go. With fellow Tough Men of Faith. Join us for a weekend of growth, fellowship, and true camaraderie in the heart of nature's wild embrace.
I like it.
You like that?
I do.
September 5th through 7th, you can join us.
What's rucking?
So, I hadn't talked to you about rucking yet. Last time I mentioned
Okay.
the 22.
See, I'm not much of a runner, per se.
I hate running.
Okay, good.
Hate running.
Yeah.
Right?
So we're not doing that.
I'm not running.
Good.
Unless the bear chases me, and there's no bear down there I know of. There's
Yeah.
some turkey, but other than that, if you run from a turkey, man.
Right? Yeah.
Anyways, so rucking's this, you put a backpack on, you
Okay.
put some weight in it.
Okay.
That's it.
That's
you
it.
walk around.
You just walk around.
You walk around. So
Like aimlessly or trail hiking?
I do trails,
Okay.
hiking, but I do it on the road.
Okay.
I live in the city.
Yeah. Yeah.
So down there, I think we'll probably have we just have several of the small different things. I've
Okay.
guys want to participate, so I'll be one of them. Bring
Cool.
a backpack, throw some weight in it,
Nice. I like it.
go up and down some hills.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe some
Build the camaraderie.
build camaraderie, sweat
Yep.
together, walk down the creek, rucking, and
Okay.
yeah.
Yep. Pull the leeches off of you and keep on
You
going.
know, there used to be a lot of leeches in that creek. 'Cause I remember as a kid, I'd go there and hang out and get leeches on
Yeah.
me. But I don't know if this is true, but the neighbors down the path have cows.
Okay.
And so I heard once that cows eat leeches. I don't know if that's true or not.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
Guess you guys will find out when you're rucking.
You're not joining us for that?
I'll probably be doing something really important like cooking or something,
Man, you grilled out on Sunday
I
for
did.
a couple hundred people or more.
About 200 burgers and
Yeah.
200 hot dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You and Bill McIntyre has been on here before.
Yeah. Well, he showed up late. I
okay.
had about half the work done by the
Yeah.
time he got there.
Time I got there fairly late 'cause I had to meet with a couple guys.
Yeah.
The burgers were gone. I heard great things about the
Yeah, they
burgers.
were good.
If you can when you cook about 200 burgers
Yeah.
and they still taste good,
Right. You're doing something.
doing something right.
Yep.
Did you bring your own seasoning?
I did.
You don't want to say?
I don't want to say.
Okay.
I don't want to tell you what it's in it.
I've been going this Pepper Palace or something. I don't know what it's called. They have them in a lot of the malls across the country.
Okay.
And so my middle daughter loves trying the hottest sauce and things like that. So I got
Okay.
to sign a waiver for her
Yeah.
to try it in there.
Yeah, she's the one that scares me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
We had that kickball game that we were playing and
Yeah.
the tournament, and dude, she hit first base and started coming towards me at second, and I just stepped out of the way.
Yeah. She told me, she said I was going
She's the kid that'll just.
She said I was
she'll
going to
plow you
plow Nick over.
Yeah.
She weighs 110 pounds.
Doesn't matter. I feel like as fast as she runs,
Oh, okay.
it's gonna hurt.
Yeah, but I've been going in that Pepper Palace. I don't know.
Okay. We need to go check it out. I haven't seen it.
So you can sample stuff. What I like, they're really knowledgeable about what they have.
Okay.
So I go in there. One of the things I like to do for lunch or my meals is I get a pound of ground beef.
Okay.
I throw it on my cast iron.
Okay.
Throw some eggs in it and some cheese on it.
Okay.
And so I was just talking about different seasonings. I have all these recommendations on hot sauce and
Nice.
seasonings you should try in it.
Do you like hot sauce?
I can eat like hot hot sauce.
Yeah.
I don't prefer it, but
Okay.
they just have so many different flavors there.
Right.
And so they talk like we like doing tacos at our house, like
Yeah.
the ground beef. And so he's like, hey, you got to try this garlic hot sauce and the taco meats. We threw it in there. It's
Good.
excellent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, let's go check this place out.
You like hot sauce?
I not like crazy hot.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you get some that I made last year? I grew those Carolina Reapers.
yeah.
And that's the only thing in my garden that took off. Like, I had hundreds of them.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
So what do you do with them all?
I had people eat them just to
Just give 'em away.
watch them cry.
Yeah, I got you.
And I wasn't going to grow them this year, but then
Yeah.
a couple guys, like some guys we know, told me like, "Oh, I can eat those, and they won't bother me." I'm like, "Now I got to grow them just to
Yeah.
watch you cry." So
I like it.
I'm growing more this year.
All right.
I made
Don't
some-
bring them to the stringer, the retreat.
Man, maybe I should bring them.
No. Maybe you should bring them for like Saturday. But I mean, you're gonna have some guys messing up some
Yeah.
toilet Saturday if you give them to them, the day before.
I took a
Not
small bite of one of them,
Yeah.
the Carolina Reapers.
Yeah.
And then I made a mistake of wiping my eye.
Huh.
And my eye, I thought, was swollen shut. I couldn't see out. My daughters and my wife were making fun of me. I
Yeah.
had milk on a paper towel on my eye, trying to get it better.
Gotcha.
It was bad.
Okay. So don't do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, I'm not going to eat one this year.
Yeah.
And then I made some hot sauce with it, but I did it outside
Okay.
because the fumes were so bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
You'll eat one, though, right?
We'll see. I'm kind of a big sissy when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Amongst
just
other
throw
things.
it. Would you eat one on the podcast?
Possibly. Can we get Blake to edit the podcast?
Well,
Maybe
I
like
mean,
sound effects.
we understand you may say some things we'd have to take out.
Yeah. Like we need like the Staples button, like that was easy. Or
Man,
we need something.
Let's jump into this session because this is good for you. Now that we talk about speech.
Great, here we go.
Yeah, no, that's a perfect segue, like what you say. So, hey, I don't know if you remember this, but about 2 weeks ago, you skipped church.
Okay.
So I thought today.
I do remember skipping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember.
I was
you
in a
skipped.
very important event.
Listen, no judgment on my part.
That's good.
Why you missed.
Okay.
I know why you missed, but even if I didn't know why you missed, I wouldn't care. Like, I'm not one of those say that if you're not there, you don't love Jesus. None of that. But I just thought, since you missed the sermon, and you think most weeks, like you sent me some reel this week about how does the pastor know? Like, does God tell the pastor exactly what I need to hear this week, and the pastor just preaches right to me?
Oh, yeah,
Remember
yeah.
you sent me something like
Yeah,
that?
I think so.
So you missed a week, and I thought, we just need to go back, cover the text we look at that week,
Yeah.
in case that was for you as well.
Right.
And then you bring up what you might say that have to be edited out. I thought speech plays into this.
Okay. Great.
Sounds good?
Can't wait. Just put me right on the spot. Huh. Skip one little church service.
Yeah. Listen, you're one of the most faithful people I know in church.
Really?
You showed up like, no, seriously, you didn't even go.
Did you have
really-
a running count? You showed up for 37 weeks in a
No,
row.
no, like you weren't like consistently going to church. Is that
Oh, yeah,
is that
no.
fair?
Yeah.
And then you showed up
Yeah,
one
pretty
time.
fair.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was being nice probably with
Yeah.
that. About 5 years ago now, 6.
Yeah, probably.
You show up, and like you don't miss.
Well, the preaching's generally pretty good.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, and
But I was gonna say like you are, and you've been a big supporter of telling other people like, hey, church is important. Like you need to be part of this community.
well,
you
yeah,
need this.
the community. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah, and
know.
you're a testament to. Here's a life who's.
Yeah, it's not your average country club.
Yeah.
That's what I tell people.
Yep.
It's good to have that community and go and feel a little conviction here and there. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that's why I skipped the other day. I didn't want to feel any conviction.
And now here we go.
Here we go.
No, actually, this verse was more. This verse was more convicting for me than
Oh, okay.
anyone else probably.
Good. It's like don't call out your friends during all of your sermons. Don't
I
make
don't
half
call-
the people laugh when you call them out or when you say. Well, you gave an example a couple of weeks ago. It was great, and you're like, "Oh, you could be a bad person or something," and you like, I forget what you said, but
I don't call anybody out by name, but sometimes people assume people.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. People knew you were talking about me.
This last week we're preaching on false teachers,
Yeah,
and it's like, hey, sometimes when we talk about false teachers, everybody wants you to name like some televangelist that has this private jet and a great smile and like things like that. It's like, but honestly, like when you look at the text, Paul there is warning you that there may be false teachers in your church.
Yeah.
So if you want me to name false teachers, you probably don't want that,
Right.
because what you're really looking at is like who's sitting amongst you.
yeah. Wait a minute.
So 1 Timothy
That's why I
4:12.
sit in the second row.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to sit that close.
That's true.
Oh.
Do you have it pulled up?
Yeah, I got it.
You want to read it? You want me to read it?
4:12.
Yeah.
To what?
Just that verse.
Oh. Let no one despise you for your youth, but set the believers an example in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, and in purity. Not impurity, but in purity.
Not impurity. No,
Right.
definitely, impurity. So this verse, like, I think a lot of young people kind of hold on to this verse, like, don't let anybody despise you for your youth.
Yeah.
To take it as, hey, just because I'm young, I'm not young and dumb.
Right.
You still have to listen to me. At least that's how I always took it when I was
Yeah,
young.
okay.
And I think young's a relative term, right?
Yeah.
So we would be.
'Cause I'm young.
We'd be young in some places.
Yeah.
Some people would look at us as old.
Right.
So
But in my walk, I might be young.
your spiritual walk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
in comparison to other people. And that's not a bad thing.
No.
It's just a different place in life.
Yeah. So I think what we see in this verse is Paul's writing it to Timothy.
Yeah.
Don't let anybody despise you for your youth. Really what he's saying is like, hey, just because you're young, people are going to have low expectations of you.
Right.
So if you're like physically young in age, if you're a
Yeah.
younger person, we usually think people are young and dumb.
Right.
Right. And so we don't expect much from them.
Right.
Or if someone's young in their spiritual walk, we're like, they're going to do some things because they're young in their walk.
Right.
And,
Yeah. As they
that's just
mature,
them.
as they get older, as they, you
Yeah.
know, as they keep the walk,
Yeah.
they'll change their ways and their
They'll
actions.
change. But then what Paul is saying to Timothy is like, hey, just because you're young, whether I think that's spiritually or physically young,
Yeah.
you don't have to give in to the low expectations that people have of you.
Right.
Isn't that incredible?
You don't have to do the stupid stuff.
Right. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
And that's where I found this convicting because I always took it as like a badge of honor. It's like, I'm young, you listen to me. And I think what the verse is saying is like, hey, I'm young. I don't have to act like a dumb young person.
Right.
Just because I'm young. Like
Yeah.
I can be spiritually mature. And even if I'm not spiritually mature, I still don't have to do the dumb stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I see why you picked this one out for today. You wanted me to hear it.
Yeah, not well,
Twice.
This is one of those I preached on it and then it just keeps coming back to me where I've been working on it in my life because
Okay.
I see how I fail in this.
Okay.
So not necessarily for you. It just worked out at the beginning. I remember that you missed church this Sunday. So then he goes on in that set. He goes on, don't let anybody despise you for your youth. Next he says, but set the believers an example.
Yeah.
So not only hey, you're young, they're not going to expect much from you. Actually, what should happen is you should set an example for older people.
Right.
They should look at you and be like,
Wait a
"Man,
minute.
that's someone I should follow."
Yeah. Yeah, that's someone I should look up to, even though they're younger than me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Paul writing to Timothy, who would have been younger, but also applying that to us. And so
Yeah.
then he begins to list like some specific things, which this is where like, as you call it, Captain Conviction comes in.
I'm glad that stuck.
It has.
Yeah.
It has. So the first one he says, be an example in speech.
Right.
So
So watch those 4-letter words when you're eating
Yeah.
Carolina Reapers with your buddy.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's not just watch what you say,
Yeah,
but
maybe it's just
also
don't say it.
well, don't say it. Your speech should be an example to others.
It should
So
be.
it's even like taking it a step higher, in
Yeah.
my opinion, of not just I need to be careful what I say, but I need to be example to others in how I talk.
Well, and you never know who's looking at you
Mm-hmm.
to set an example.
Yeah.
And you never know who's listening to you to set an example. And it's good advice to watch what you say around everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to, you don't want to be setting a bad example for people and they think that it's okay because you do it.
Yeah. Well, like the young men that we're around in our church that we're helping lead, like they're learning what jokes to tell, what to laugh at,
Right.
how to talk, what words are acceptable based off how we talk.
Yeah. That's bad. You need to keep them away.
Or like I like to say, like
This is why you brought this up.
My
Captain
children-
Conviction.
I found this convicting for me. My children learn how to talk based off how I talk.
Okay.
And I think in the past there's times like, hey, Dad's going to say these things. Dad may talk about these people, but you shouldn't talk about these people.
Yeah.
And what kind of example is that setting?
Right.
So I think Paul's just saying here, like, as Christians, our speech, man, it needs to look different.
Yep.
So not just the 4-letter words,
What's that?
not just 4-letter
No,
words.
I get it.
But like, how do we respond?
It's the not talking about other people. It's the not gossiping. It's the
Yeah.
not.
Or when they mess up your order at a restaurant, like,
Yeah.
how do you respond?
right.
So
I just eat it because I don't want them to spit on it when I send it back. I've seen waiting.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I will take my steak under or overcooked.
yeah,
So
yeah. So we could talk a lot there.
But I
which
think
we
that
have,
shows a lot of people.
yeah,
I mean, just that instance there. I mean, I've seen people fly off the handle,
yeah,
and what good does that do?
right. And what kind of example are you setting?
Yeah, well, then it just lets everybody know that's out with you that I don't want to go out with this guy again.
Yeah.
He's nuts.
Yeah, he's nuts. Or I think others learn like this is acceptable behavior.
Yeah,
This is how I respond.
right.
So he says in speech, and then next he goes on to conduct. We should be an example in our conduct. Pretty broad word there, but it's basically saying every area of your life. So
Right.
at home, at church, how you interact at the grocery store, when you're at the gun range.
Yep. How you interact with your spouse when other people are around.
Yeah.
That's a big one. We've talked about it plenty of times before, but
How you interact when you're playing sports. If you play a slow pitch softball.
yeah. Do you
you're
play
on-
slow pitch softball?
I don't. I kind of want to.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that too.
But,
Yeah.
the church softball team, like have you ever heard like how those go?
Isn't there a song? Church
There is
League
a
softball fist
song, I
fight?
think. Yeah. And I haven't heard the song,
Okay.
but I'm sure there's some
I'll send it
truth
to you
to
later.
it. I played right out of high school. I played on some slow pitch church softball,
Okay.
and it was brutal, man.
I'd really like to learn to ice skate. I really want to play hockey.
What? Oh, hockey. I was like,
Yeah.
where is this going?
Yeah,
Like,
if I,
are you
I want to
what,
be a figure skater.
figure skater?
I have that build.
Yeah. So I don't know. So our conduct should be setting an example
Yeah.
to people. So
Yep,
do
I
older
agree.
Christians look at you and see godliness?
Yep.
Do they? And I think our conduct was more saying like, you say one thing, how are you acting?
Right.
Right. So
Yeah. Are you the same person when no one's around as you are when other people are around?
yeah, I know we talked about James some in the
Yeah.
fall on the podcast, but are you living out your faith?
Yeah.
Right. Let's keep going.
What we got next? We got
Love.
love.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Be an example in your love.
Yeah. Good thing we have an audience here today. We can't dive into this one too much.
Well, I mean, some of this on this is like, how do you love? So Peter talks about that we're sent out as exiles,
Yeah.
and loving the world around us, or loving the people in the world around us. Like, how do we do that if people don't like us?
Right.
Are we an example of love to
Yeah.
them?
Yeah. Do you show love to people that don't like you or people that you don't like? Or do you treat them differently?
Yeah. Yeah. And so when I was preaching on this, I talked some about the best defense is a good offense.
Yeah.
I gave the illustration that I was a goalie in high school for soccer.
Okay. Yeah.
I wasn't very good,
Right.
and we always had a really good soccer team, so I never really had many shots taken on me.
Okay.
And so the entire soccer team, like the older guys, got in trouble one time.
Yeah.
I wasn't there, so I didn't get in trouble.
Okay.
And they put in all the JV team
Yeah.
basically to
All
play.
the second string guys
We played this
and,
team,
the stringer guy.
and they just kept shooting on me and kept scoring. I was like, man, maybe I'm not that good.
Yeah.
We just have a really good offense.
Right.
And so I think when it comes to love, we want to be on the offense of this showing mercy, showing love
Yep.
to others.
Even to the people that we don't necessarily care for.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So
I
when you
think that's a big deal.
take criticism,
Yeah.
which you're going to,
Right.
man, just love.
Right.
Love them back. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
And faith.
Is that the next one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So be an example in faith.
Yep.
It's a tough one.
Tough man of faith.
Tough men of faith.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I got you.
That's good. Anything to say on tough men of faith?
Yeah. I mean, look at the example that you and I are trying to be.
There we go. Trying to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we show up consistently. We do this. We just, all just for the benefit of helping one more person.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that was always the goal from day one.
Yeah.
And, just show up and show out in your faith.
Yeah. I think the example of our faith shows really when a trial hits.
For
So
sure.
when you go through a rough time,
Yeah.
do you quit going to church, give up on God, and
Yep.
God hates me, everything's bad. And there's seasons where you may go through that.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
right, like that really shows your faith that things are not going well for
Right.
me right now. But man, I'm not wavering in my faith.
Yeah.
I'm going to be an example for others who may have to walk through this season
Yep.
sometime.
Yeah. I read a cliche church sign a couple years ago, but it's always stuck with me is that people often forget to pray until they're flat on their backs. And
Yeah.
I think about that a lot because, I'm kind of one of those people. My prayer life isn't probably up to par.
Yeah.
But it always is when I'm down,
Yeah. Yeah.
And we need to make sure that it's on par even when things are good.
Yep.
So
It's true. Then the last one's purity.
impurity.
Impurity. Yeah. So that's more than, and we talked about like staying pure in all areas of your life,
Yeah.
right? But what I see here, it's like aligning your heart with Christ.
Right.
So in all areas
Yeah.
where you're working to become more like him and pure in your life. And so the ultimate to purity comes from Christ himself.
Right.
That he's the one that washes away our sins.
He
That
is
we're
everything
pure through
good.
him. Yeah, the righteousness all comes through him.
Yep.
And what I like about the put purity last there is like, man, we're going to fall short in all these. My speech is going to fall short. My faith is going to come up
Yep.
short. My conduct, if you follow me around, there's going to be times like, that's not good.
Yeah.
My purity is going to struggle at times.
That's not good. He's been hanging out with Nick again.
Yeah, Nick's rubbing off on him.
Yeah.
Um,
And in love too. you know.
and then my love is definitely, I don't need you to rub off on me on that. Like I'm going to do a good enough job myself messing up on love.
Don't you worry, buddy.
Yeah, but when it comes down to it, like even though I fall short in all this, man, I'm pure because of Christ.
Yep.
So because of his love for me.
Yeah.
That's it, man. That was all the sermon was it.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm glad I missed it.
Yeah, glad. Me too. So we covered again today.
Yeah, great.
No, I just found this for me, like, especially the
good.
idea of being an example to other believers in these areas,
Yeah.
no matter your age.
Right.
So if you're listening to this, you're 20 years old, and you're like, man, I'm just a 20-year-old. I don't have much. I have low expectations. Is what
Yeah.
people have of me. Like, no, if you're a Christian, be an example in these areas.
Yeah, exactly. Let
Yeah.
people see who you are and what you are and,
Yeah.
and live it out.
Yep.
You know, we hung out with some younger Christians a couple weeks ago and
Mm-hmm.
really had a great time. But,
Good.
you know, if they didn't put on a good front, you know,
Yeah.
maybe that's just really who they are. And
Yep.
we had a great time with that. So,
Good.
Yep.
All right, man. It's been good.
Yeah.
Join us next week.
Yep.
Tough Men of Faith.
Remember, check out Increase Jesus.
Increase Jesus.
And you'll have some more details soon on the
Yeah.
summit.
Yeah, I'll be online
Yeah.
soon, so you can start registering. And
Okay, cool.
yeah, make sure to subscribe on YouTube, like us on Facebook,
Yep. And X.
X,
Yeah. And
all right,
Instagrams.
Instagram.
Yeah.
All right.
All right,
See you
we'll
guys.
see you soon. Thanks.